Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. It's Black History Month, so you know what that means. The white media is going to be flooding the zone with their bootlicks, backstabbers, sellouts, and shills, and telling us that we ought to root for them. This is a key part of why it is that I wanted to make it a point to talk about our heroes and sheroes, our icons, during this holy day period. And the reason why is, if we don't make it a point to remind ourselves what's important to us, then rest assured the white media will try to use their monopoly to program us with what they think is important. As a case study, the white media did one of their usual flash-in-the-pan media blitzes where they make a big deal out of someone just long enough for people to look at it and think that something important must be going on because the search engines are promoting it. Beyonce has made history. Shocking, I know. How, you ask? By being the first black woman to win a Grammy for Best Country Music Album. And while it is ridiculous to be putting the name Beyonce and the phrase made history in the same sentence together, by the same token, that's what the white media did. And it wasn't just one or two little old small tiny web pages, some little vanity project websites you never heard of. It's actually the quote-unquote legitimate news websites from the white media that have been saying that phrase about her. First black woman to win a Grammy for Best Country Music Album. You see all the qualifiers they had to put on there in order to engineer that headline? And that phrase, so-and-so made history, it's just been used and abused so much the last several years by the white media. That was a large part of the reason that I decided to make that video, yesterday's briefing, about that Gascon character, the trans actor who's racist as hell. Now, why does the white media keep using that phrase so much? Well, in large part, it's because it's the usual clickbait. They're looking for phrases that hopefully are going to compel people to actually click on their link and read their website's content and hopefully get themselves some more advertiser revenue. But another part of it is because the white media is not in the business of entertainment. They're in the business of mind control. And part of mind control is holding up dangling objects and convincing you that this is important. Now, for those of you who actually care about this, all two of you, Beyonce wasn't the first black woman to win a country music Grammy, by the way. In fact, she wasn't even the second or third black woman to do it. She was the fourth. Because the Pointer Sisters, there were three of them, won a Grammy for Best Country Music Performance back in 1975. Beyonce hadn't even been born yet. So even if you are one of the sad brain-addled victims of the white media content and you got all jolly about this history-making moment, well, I hate to burst your bubble, but you are living proof that Harry Truman was right when he said the only thing new in this world is the history you don't know. And the Grammys, like the rest of the white media, proves Napoleon was right when he said history is a lie agreed upon. Well, he was right about history being a lie, at least as long as white power is in charge. That's why you need the black media. And we see both Harry Truman and Napoleon's axioms playing themselves out with this latest farce. By the way, on a side note, the Grammys took place at the Crypto Arena this year. Crypto Arena. Talk about truth in advertising. Now, remember, Beyonce just a few months ago was out on the campaign trail stomping for Kamala Harris. Well, actually, Beyonce was only at one little old campaign rally in Houston, and that was the only reason that the people even showed up for that thing. They wanted to see Beyonce get out there and dance a little jig for him, sing a couple of bars of Survivor. And why was it that Kamala Harris decided to have Beyonce and Meg the Stallion and some other heifers out there endorsing her? Is because she apparently thought that the road to the White House ran through these white media bootlicks, and she found out the hard way it doesn't. Sure, the Democrats thought that the Bay Hive was going to swarm the Orange Man, but Kamala was the one who wound up getting stung. And what's going on with Beyonce now? Well, clearly she's not too broken up about Kamala having lost the election, and she's not panicking about the Orange Man being in control of the government and all of the censorious nonsense that he's been pulling. So, Beyonce's phony little rally appearance didn't mean anything, certainly not to Beyonce. She's already gone back to business as usual. In fact, all of those little starlets and singers and whoever's that Kamala Harris had out there with her, from Meg the Stallion to Taylor Swift to Cardi B, that heifer. Now, were these people even talking a good game about the fall of American democracy during their little campaign rally appearances? I don't think they were at all. I don't think anybody was paying attention either to what they said. It's all part of the cult of fame and celebrity. It overshadowed what little message Kamala Harris thought that they were going to be pimping for her. But even if they did say anything about Donald Trump apparently going to snuff out the pure light of American democracy, which only exists in their imaginations, does anyone truly believe that the people who listen to the Taylor Swifts and the Beyoncés and the Meg Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's and other assorted nonsense, do you think that those folks actually care or know anything about current events? If you were to ask them who the hell was the vice president, they probably couldn't tell you. And that tells you everything you need to know about how the Democrats thought that they were going to sidestep or circumvent the black vote. They thought they were going to overwhelm us with star power. They were going to dazzle us by having all of these bootlicking celebrities show up and say, you gotta vote for Kamala Harris. Well, as the old saying goes, if you can't dazzle them with diamonds, baffle them with BS. So I guess that's why the Obamas came out on the campaign trail. But the point that I'm trying to get to is these celebrities who Kamala Harris had out there with her, she was sitting here giving all of these apocalyptic predictions, and they were saying, vote for Kamala Harris as if your life depends on it. Well, she lost the election, and here they are going back to singing. They're sitting here getting their awards. They're smiling for the cameras, the step and repeat banners, the red carpet treatment. They're doing their little post-show interviews as if nothing had changed, because the reality is, for them, nothing has. 4 months ago, you had Beyonce and Taylor Swift telling us that the world as we knew it was about to end. And this week, hey, it's a party, y'all. Even with all the hell the Orange Man is raising in DC, they've gone right back to performing their songs, making money with their mediocre music and TV shows and movies. See, they were far more upset and brokenhearted about the LA wildfires because that burned down their houses. They were not so much concerned about the alleged torching of American democracy that the Orange Man allegedly is going to carry out. You see, the black grassroots, we didn't fall for the fear-mongering routine. We didn't care about star power. We cared about black power. But now they're testing us. The testing has already begun. That you want to see just how many of us have gone back to drinking the Kool-Aid. Black celebrities, and that includes these sellout politicians like Obama and Jasmine what's-her-name in Texas, these people are used as weapons of mass distraction against the black masses. We have real demands, real issues, real history that we are pursuing. We don't have any time or interest in any phony baloney awards being given to someone and then being told that's history making. Again, it's the white media trying to prove that they can conjure magic. They can go ahead and tell you that one of their little professional butt kissers like Beyonce, if she gets an award for playing country music, and probably not even doing a good job of it, apparently that's supposed to be held up as worthy. Oh, this is a history-making moment, and you're supposed to go, that's right, this is history. And once they've got you in the habit of thinking that she's done something important when she really hasn't, got you thinking to yourself that she has some sort of real gravitas to her, then what happens is she goes out on the campaign trail and tells you vote for Kamala Harris, who ain't going to do anything for you. They're trying to give themselves instant legitimacy. That's the purpose that these award shows serve. Doesn't matter if it's the Oscars or the Grammys or whomever. That's the entire point. And no, we're not going to be talking about Kanye West. Other than to say how interesting it is that all he had to do was have his latest pet skank run around naked at the Grammys, and the white media is not chattering nonsensically about him being an anti-Semite anymore. Clearly, Kanye has been going to the Donald Trump School of Public Relations. Flash and trash gets him every time. And speaking of trash, another aspect of the white media's pretend adulation for Beyonce's history-making accomplishment was to have Jay-Z out there with her. They're still trying to resurrect the power couple propaganda line for these two, what with Beyonce calling herself Cowboy Carter. Amazing. She's married to Jay-Z and she doesn't even call herself Beyonce Carter, at least not publicly. She only brings up his last name for a cheap marketing gimmick. And you better believe Jay-Z was going to be in attendance. Given his current legal problems, he could use the positive press. So family, please understand that with the white media, the line between these tools isn't being blurred, it's being obliterated. Black actors and singers have always been put on TV by the white media and told that they can speak on legitimate issues for us, as if Black America doesn't have any actual legitimate scholars and spokespeople of our own. Black History Month is what's going on now, and they present their tool to us and have the gall to use the phrase history making when talking about her, as if Beyonce belongs in the same category as Harriet Tubman, Mary McLeod Bethune, and Rosa Parks. You know, there used to be a time that black people made history by fighting white power and challenging everything. Now the definition of history is when white power gives you an award that means nothing. And we see everything they do as a performance. No matter what Beyonce said on the campaign trail, no matter who she lent her massive cult of fame to, in the end, it didn't matter. A lot of black folks were scared to death, but Beyonce clearly wasn't worried at all, and she's not worried now. And that's the lesson that black folks better start learning to take away from these incidents. We better start learning to internalize this stuff. It's no accident that Jay-Z was out there with her. This is another one of what he calls their chess moves, making a chess move. Well, next time some white media bootlick or one of their shills in the comments section calls themselves saying that, well, Jay-Z or whomever is doing a chess move, you make sure to point out that these people are never on the same side of the chessboard as we are. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Samara Morris, Deborah Clark Ware, Josh Heath, Asfeo Dingaswayo, and Pamela Hyman. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.